Welcome to a world of magical princess fairy tales, where every story begins with wonder.
In the hidden kingdom of Nightfall, where the skies were always painted in shades of twilight, there was a secret no one dared to speak aloud.
Touch me.
Every royal heir was cursed.
Kael,
Prince Kael,
save me.
only 17, was brave, but troubled. Every night he saw the same dream, a girl in silver chains, calling his name. Kael,
I
save
will
me.
reach that tower.
When he
no
woke
matter
up,
the cost.
his hands would glow with dark energy. The royal advisors feared
my
him.
dreams.
Some even whispered
Why are you
he
trapped?
might be the curse itself.
Because your kingdom cursed me.
Far beyond the mountains, in a rival kingdom,
Not while I still
lived
draw
Princess
breath!
Elara, smart,
If the
fearless,
prince breaks the
and
curse,
hiding something.
the kingdom falls.
She wasn't just a princess,
This
she was a
crown
prisoner.
is built on suffering.
One stormy night, Kael followed his dreams. He rode into the forbidden forest. Lightning struck, and suddenly, the tower appeared. Inside it was Elara. "You're from my dreams," Kael whispered. "You shouldn't be here." Elara stepped back.
You saved
"Why are
me.
you trapped?"
Worth it.
She hesitated, then said,
In Arendelle, winter arrived like a soft silver lullaby. Snow-layered rooftops, icicles framed windows, the fjord shimmered. Queen Elsa felt a new magic, stirring gentle, patient, unfamiliar. It wasn't the sharp spark of power she used to build palaces. It was softer, almost like a heartbeat beneath the snow. One dawn, wrapped in a frost-blue velvet cloak, Elsa followed a quiet pool into the forest. The trees stood tall, branches heavy with snow. Then she saw it, a faint glow rising from a clearing ahead. Brushing snow aside, she discovered a hidden garden. Crystal roses shimmered like spun glass. Silver lilies chimed when the wind touched them. Pale blue star flowers pulsed with icy light. Instead of wilting, they blossomed brighter the colder the air became. Elsa knelt carefully. The petals did not freeze, they glowed. "I didn't make you," she whispered, surprised. A frost vine curled gently around her gloved hand. Comforting, Elsa understood. This garden grew from winter's harmony. It grew from her learning to embrace her magic, not fear it. Each day she returned, shaping snow arches to shield the flowers. She let soft flakes fall like nourishment upon them. When she sang, the blossoms sparkled as though singing back. The colder the night, the brighter they shone. One afternoon, Anna followed her sister's footprints through the snow. She expected ice sculptures, but stepped into a glowing dream. "Elsa, it's alive," Anna breathed, amazed. Elsa smiled, peaceful. "Winter isn't emptiness," she said softly. "It's a season of quiet growing." Together, they placed gentle snow lanterns around the clearing. The flowers' glow could shine safely through the long nights. From the castle, Arendelle noticed a soft silver light in the woods. It was like the forest had grown its own constellation. No one knew the secret of the enchanted blooms except the sisters. Every winter after, the garden awakened once more. It grew brighter, stronger, more radiant. Elsa no longer saw winter as something to control. She saw it as something to nurture, a source of beauty.
In Luminara lived Prince Kael and Princess Mira, known as the Royal Adventurers. Kael loved exploring. Mira loved riddles. One foggy evening, the great clock tower stopped ticking. A black raven landed on the palace window, carrying a golden note. Mira read, "When the clock stops, the shadows wake. Find the gears before the last bell breaks." A symbol of a crooked hat and swirling spiral marked it as the Shadow Witch, Selvara. Kael grinned. "Then we have a mystery to solve. At the tower, a door riddle. I have keys but no locks, space but no room. What am I?" Mira smiled. "A keyboard." The lock vanished and the door opened. Inside, moving shadows. A whisper. Feed me, and I live. Give me a drink, and I die. What am I? Mira answered, Fire. The shadows vanished, revealing a staircase. At the top, 3 gears: gold, silver, black. Selvara appeared. Choose the gear that restores time, she said. Choose wrongly, and time remains frozen. Mira noticed the black gear had tiny scratches. Unlike the shiny gold and silver, the real gear is the one that has been used, she declared, pushing the black gear. The tower roared to life. Tick, tock. The clocks of Luminara moved again. Selvara smiled. You solved the mystery. The kingdom is safe, for now. She disappeared. Kael laughed. Another adventure finished. Mira looked at the turning clock. Maybe, but I think this mystery has only just begun. Somewhere far away in the dark forest, a second clock quietly began to tick.
A queen wished for a child with skin like snow. She named her Snow White. The queen died, and the king remarried a vain woman. The queen asked her mirror who was the fairest. Enraged that Snow White was fairer, she ordered her killed. The huntsman let Snow White run and brought back an animal's heart. Snow White found a cottage with 7 dwarfs. The dwarfs warned her not to open the door. The queen disguised herself and poisoned Snow White with an apple. A prince found her and stumbled, dislodging the apple. Snow White woke, and the prince asked for her hand. They ruled with care, remembering the past.
Lyra stood on the jagged cliffs, her toes gripping the cold stone. Below, the ocean churned with an unnatural, pulsating blue light. A massive, bioluminescent figure breached the surface. It was a mermaid. The Tide Kingdom is fading, the mermaid said, her voice echoing. Lyra looked at her own hands, then at the horizon. The shadow tide has returned to claim the throne you left behind. Suddenly, the water rose, forming a liquid pillar around Lyra's ankles. She did not fall. Instead, she was lifted into the air. A glowing, intricate crest ignited on her wrist. Lyra felt the fabric of her clothes dissolve, replaced by strength. With a final breath of salt air, she plunged into the depths. She dove deeper and deeper, her body cutting through the blue. The underwater city of coral towers lay in ruins. At the center, a vortex of darkness writhed. Shadows whispered in Lyra's ears, mocking her human life. They hissed of failure and the end of her lineage. She ignored them, swimming toward the vortex with a steady heart. She could feel the heartbeat of the kingdom, calling out. She raised her glowing wrist. The water began to vibrate. I am the princess of the tides, she shouted. She thrust her palms forward, channeling every ounce of her will. A shockwave of pure, blinding light erupted from her body. The shadow tide shrieked as the light incinerated its form, turning the suffocating darkness into harmless, rising bubbles. The light spread like a wildfire under the sea. The coral towers regained their vibrant hues of pink and gold. Schools of fish returned, their scales catching the new light. The corruption was gone, purged by the strength of a queen. Lyra floated in the center, her tail shimmering in the water, watching the darkness dissolve into nothingness. The ancient song of her people lived in her blood. She had finally accepted her destiny. The mermaid swam to her side, bowing low. You chose your path, princess, she said. Lyra looked up toward the surface, where moonlight filtered down, promising that this was only the beginning of her reign.
And that's where today's magical story ends. But the mystery continues.